There's a new plot twist in the Epstein files. For those who can't keep up, here it goes.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're discussing the most devastating reveals we've learned from Virginia Roberts Giuffre's memoir, released in October 2025 posthumously.
There are girls out there that will speak up, and I don't care if it's 10 years later or 15 years later, whenever you're ready to do it, you do it.
You're going to meet a handsome prince.
Epstein's victims have talked about how they weren't sure who this guy was, but because Ghislaine seemed so proper, surely it's got to be legit.
Within the pages of her memoir, Virginia Roberts Giuffre reveals that when she was 17 years old, she was told by Ghislaine Maxwell that she was going to meet a handsome prince, quote, just like Cinderella. This handsome prince turned out to be Prince Andrew, a member of the British royal family.
She was very specific. She described the dance that you had together in Tramp. She described meeting you. She was a 17-year-old girl meeting a senior member of the royal family.
He guessed her age correctly upon their first meeting, according to the memoir, stating, quote, my daughters are just a little younger than you. Over the years, she had relations with him several times. One instance described in the pages of her book included 7 other young women, as well as other powerful men mentioned later in this video.
And there was some joking about how these are the easiest females to deal with, the ones who can't speak English.
The mistreatment that started it all. In her book, Giuffre described her home life while growing up, which she believed helped pave the way for further abuse later in her life by Jeffrey Epstein and others.
They were poor girls for the most part. They were chosen from the seedier side of the tracks. They were desperate financially, and these posh people were telling them they saw promise in them.
She revealed that she had been trafficked by a friend of her father's before ever meeting Epstein. She alleged that she had also experienced abuse at the hands of her own father, which manifested in many forms.
Maybe this is just how the world works. If abuse is so prevalent in my life, maybe that's just what it is. That's just life.
Parental neglect, severe corporal punishment, indecent and sexual assault were all listed as she shared memories of these experiences within the memoir. She later met Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell when she was a teenager.
She goes, oh, you know what? I know this guy. There's an opportunity, actually. If you want to become a real massage therapist, we can get you trained. You can come for the interview tonight. And if he likes you, then you'll be a real masseuse.
Modeling agency founder accused.
That little girl, Carol.
Yes.
I really like her.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Do you think I could represent her in Paris?
Ms. Giuffre's memoir reveals that one of the men she was trafficked to was Jean-Luc Brunel, who founded the high-fashion boutique modeling agency MC2, which was also financially backed by Jeffrey Epstein and dissolved in 2019, according to public records.
Agency, we have 2 offices, one in New York, one in Miami. We're looking for very strong, confident, beautiful women between the ages of 16 to 22.
In the book, she alleges that Brunel was involved in, quote, group sexual activity with girls who, quote, appeared to be under the age of 18 and didn't really speak English, along with Prince Andrew. Ms. Giuffre reveals that some of Epstein's staff members, whom she identifies in the book, were possibly first-hand witnesses to these horrendous crimes.
Drivers, chauffeurs, butlers, housemaids. It took all of these people turning a blind eye, which they weren't blind to, because we were right there blatantly in front of them. They knew exactly what was going on.
The chosen one.
Cages come in many forms, and I can tell you my cage might have been a golden cage, but it was a cage nonetheless.
Ms. Giuffre reveals in her memoir that Jeffrey Epstein once told her, quote, I want you to have our baby, meaning his and Ghislaine Maxwell's child. She went on to share details that he, quote, fantasized about improving the human race by fathering children who carried his superior genes, while using his ranch as, quote, a literal breeding ground to propagate babies.
Citing 2 award-winning scientists and an advisor to large companies and wealthy individuals, the article reports Epstein surrounded himself with leading scientists and would tell them he wanted to have 20 women impregnated at a time on the ranch.
Because this would mean signing over all legal rights to the child to Epstein, Ms. Giuffre believed, quote, it was a bridge too far. She claims that this request was, quote, the straw that broke the camel's back, ultimately inspiring her escape.
I said, I'm not coming back. You could tell he was pissed off by the tone of his voice, and he said, have a good life. And he clicked the phone up.
Epstein's bedtime ritual.
Be quiet, be subservient, give Jeffrey what he wants. A lot of this training came from Ghislaine herself.
Within the pages of her memoir, Ms. Giuffre reveals a bedtime ritual of Jeffrey Epstein's that she was involved in. She writes that she was instructed to pull his covers up and stay with him until he would fall asleep. She went on, detailing that Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell would say to her repeatedly how she would, quote, make a great mother.
And I had these two people making my life choices for me every minute of every day that I was with them. It's like this really effed up family where...
The memoir goes on to explain how Maxwell played, quote, den mother to Epstein's dysfunctional family of underage girls, and would refer to them as her own. Ms. Giuffre reveals her belief that, quote, from the start, I was groomed to be complicit in my own destruction.
You're screaming on the inside and you don't know how to let it come out. And you just become this numb figure who refuses to feel and refuses to speak and refuses, all you do is obey. That's it.
Groomed for recruitment.
And for my birthday, they got me tickets to Thailand. They booked me into a Thai massage course. But they asked me to get another girl to bring over from Thailand, right? So it's never just doing something nice for you. That's not how they worked. It's always an exchange for something.
Ms. Giuffre's memoir details how Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell would use her to recruit other girls for them. It goes on to explain that they were, quote, preferably white with girl-next-door looks that made them look underage. His key requirement was vulnerability.
The recruitment process was never ending. So it wasn't like he was finally set up. He's got his 5 girls here, there, there, and there, and there. And so you were forced to try to bring other girls in.
She even went as far as recruiting her own friends, saying, quote, I stooped so low that I even brought friends of mine for him to abuse. Ms. Giuffre explained that the abuse inflicted upon her by Epstein and Maxwell was more psychological than physical, and that, quote, from the start, I was groomed to be complicit in my own destruction.
To me, still to this day, it is my biggest shame that I carry around that I will never get rid of. And I'm really, really sad that I brought other girls my age and even younger into a world that they should have never been introduced to.
A wicked game of blackmail.
Jeffrey always wanted to meet women at his house. They always came to his house, like behind closed doors.
Within the memoir, Ms. Giuffre speculates that one of the reasons Jeffrey Epstein supplied these young girls to all of these powerful men, putting them in compromising positions, was that so he could blackmail them later on. In the book, she reveals that Epstein's homes were fitted with video cameras in every room, and he had kept a huge library of videotapes he had recorded in his houses.
Bathrooms, massage rooms, everyone's room. The entire mansion was being watched.
This mansion had dozens of rooms. It was intended to intimidate people.
The book goes on to describe how he showed her the room where he monitored the recordings. Ms. Giuffre stated that a woman recalled Epstein saying, quote, it's good to have things on people.
Those videotapes would theoretically not just let you know the horrors that went on in the house, but they might even identify some of the men.
Threats and veiled smiles.
Have you talked to anybody? Have you told anybody what's happened? Like, you know, have you reported us or anything? And I said, no. I haven't spoken to anybody. Okay, good. You stay like that. You stay quiet.
Giuffre outlines in her memoir how Jeffrey Epstein would resort to threats as a means to coerce her into staying with him and continuing the abuse. According to her book, he would tell her things like, quote, I know where your brother goes to school, even going as far as to say, quote, and I own the Palm Beach Police Department, so they won't do anything about it.
It was very difficult to read. I mean, as the little brother and her being the protector, very difficult to read.
Ultimately, this was to keep her quiet and amenable, as he went on to say, quote, you must never tell a soul what goes on in this house. Giuffre described the moment, stating, quote, he was smiling, but his threat was clear.
You know, you ask yourself, like, if I could talk to that 16-year-old girl again, what would you tell her? Bloody hell, I'd tell her to run for your life. But at 16, you just, I don't know. Yeah, I was very intimidated by these people.
Fearing for her life.
The island was my jail. You literally are stuck with adults who don't care about you.
Ms. Giuffre revealed in her memoir that during her years with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, quote, they let me out to scores of wealthy, powerful people. Near the end of the memoir, she writes, quote, I have not named all the men I was trafficked to, as some of these powerful men had threatened her with litigation and more.
These were not people to be crossed. These were very significant people with the ability, the power, the wealth to destroy a life if they wanted to.
The book does go into detail about one of them, specifically stating, quote, "This man is very wealthy and very powerful." One she described as, quote, "a former minister who, quote, took pleasure in seeing me fear for my life." Ms. Giuffre wrote, quote, "I believed that I might die," and stated that she did, quote, "not make this decision to hold back lightly."
And just because Virginia is gone does not mean her family is not in danger. Some of these people are scary. So I respect her choices. So, I mean, I guess that's the short answer. It's her book, and we're not going to go any farther than that.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Too big a distraction.
And I will do everything that I can do to be a part of helping them do that.
Within the memoir, Ms. Giuffre reveals the details of her shock and ultimate disappointment that she was not allowed to testify against Ghislaine Maxwell, who she claims to have trafficked her for Jeffrey Epstein shortly before her 17th birthday. According to Ms. Giuffre, the lead prosecutors for the Maxwell case had said that Ms. Giuffre would be, quote, "too big a distraction" when breaking the news to Virginia.
I will tell you, for her on this journey, she has risked so much to come forward and be brave over the last several years and tell her story.
Ms. Giuffre went on to say, quote, "They feared such theatrics would dilute jurors' focus, taking the spotlight off Maxwell. My narrative was complicated, if only because I had named so many names."
I was recruited at a very young age from Mar-a-Lago and entrapped in a world that I didn't understand, and I've been fighting that very world to this day, and I won't stop fighting. I will never be silenced until these people are brought to justice.
Please let us know in the comments your thoughts surrounding these revelations from Virginia Roberts Giuffre's inspiring memoir, and if you think we missed any other explosive revelations.